when I first came to practice in August of '62, the practice wasn't too awfully busy, and I like sports so quite a bit. And John Seaman, who was an assistant administrator of the Princeton School District, I asked him if I could be the team doctor for Princeton High School. So he thought that was real good. So right there, I remember the first game I went to, it was over at Sycamore. We sat in the stands. Well, the coach, Pat Mancuso, didn't think that was very good because somebody got hurt. They have to get the doctor to come down out of the stands. So he read the act to me. So from then on, I was always on the sidelines. And of course, I must have liked it because I did it for 41 years. So, I took some classes up in Columbus put on by the Ohio State Medical Association about being a team doctor, and we had, of course, wonderful teams. We won the state championship, or played in the state championship 6 times, and I think we won it 3 times and lost 3 times, and we had great records. So it was very satisfying. And we also they had to have a doctor at like wrestling matches and like that, so I went a lot to that. And actually, the Princeton School District was excellent at that time. All 3 of my children graduated from Princeton High School and went to Harvard and Miami and Duke, so they certainly got in any place that they could possibly could. And also something that was very good for me, it turned out, was there was a doctor who practiced for a long time in Sharonville by the name of Ferris Beakley, who was very well liked. He was a railroad, New York Central Railroad team, or physician, not team doctor, just a physician. And 3 or 4 months after I'd been here, probably in the fall there of 1962, he had kind of a stroke, and he asked us to be the Dr. Hanna and I to be the team, or to be the railroad physician. So Dr. Hanna liked that, so we saw a lot of people for physicals for the railroad, and a lot of injuries for the railroad. And the other thing that Dr. Beakley did, he went up to the Willows Nursing Home, which was up in Pisgah, which is probably 5 or 6 miles north of Sharonville. At that particular time, the regulations weren't as strict as they are now. You had to have all kinds of signed things to be the physician for the place. But anyway, it was just more or less wanted doctors to come to take care of the patients were there. So Dr. Beakley, due to his stroke, for a while couldn't go there. So I started to do that when Dr. Webb came then. He did it. We went there once a week. One of us would go to the place and see patients. And then there was Bonnie's Nursing Home, which was right across the street, which was actually, when I first came here, now that I think about it, 1962, Bonnie's Nursing Home was right next to the football field at Princeton High School. And it was run by a lady by the name of Bonnie Carstens, who I think had some connection to Glendale. I'm not sure exactly, but she took very good care of patients. And actually the principal, I think, of the Glendale school was there, Mrs. Robb, I believe that's her name. And Bonnie Carstens would be sure that they ate well and their bowels moved and everything, and nothing very fancy, but the patients lived and did very well with just very simple, conscientious care. And so anyway, I kept doing that, and then also I'm a lifelong Episcopalian, and in fact, as when I moved to Glendale, I had no idea that there was a Episcopal convent here in Glendale. I remember thinking of that, and of course, no, there wasn't anybody going up there, and there was a nursing home associated with that, and I would go talk to the sisters, and my experience were with Catholic sisters that I'd heard from my friends in grade school and College Hill, that the sisters would slap them on the wrist with ruler or something if they were nasty. Well, these were older ladies, and they were a lot of fun. They were just charming people. So I used to go there once a day, and right next door there was a nursing home, the Willows, or not the Willows, the Maple Knoll nursing home. And one of the nurses from the Willows finally came down and was the head nurse there, and she and I got along very well. Actually, I had an aunt and an uncle, and Diane's mother and father, and all died there at St. Mary's at one time or another. It was over the years with different illnesses, and it was a very nice relationship with the church and with the Maple Knoll Nursing Home. And then, actually, as I mentioned before, the Maple Knoll at that time, before it was a senior citizen place, was a home for unwed mothers, which I didn't have any idea about, but all communities like Indianapolis and Columbus and St. Louis, they all had homes like that. And if your daughter got pregnant and didn't have a miscarriage or abortion, or they would go and visit their relatives. So the story of these places, and in actuality, they were coming to a home like Maple Knoll to have a child that they put up for adoption. And actually, my last child, Michael, who wanted to join me in practice, was born in Maple Knoll. He was born in September of 1966, and due to different regulations, and you'd use drop ether, and all the federal regulations didn't think that was very good. They closed Maple Knoll to do deliveries in a month later, in October of 1966. So he was one of the last patients, private patients born there. And at that time, you could go, and it cost all of about $100 to have a baby there. I'd stay for about 5 days. So when you think about it, $5,000 or $6,000 now to have a baby, it's something. And then the other thing is the Visiting Nurses Association, which was right across the street in the Harry Whitey Brown property. When I first came here, the visiting nurses, actually when I was in medical school, we used to go around with the visiting nurses, but the main office of visiting nurses was down on Auburn Avenue. And I had no idea that they had in fact, this was the only satellite practice, which I'm sure had a lot to do with the Sawyers and the Proctors and whatnot. So that was a wonderful relationship, wonderful for the patients here, because if you were old and in the house by yourself, I mean, the nurses would come to see you, so that was very good.